Have you ever found yourself sitting at home, wondering where all the people in your life have gone? Maybe old friends have moved away, maybe loved ones have passed on, or maybe life just got busy and those connections slowly faded without you even noticing. It's a lonely feeling, isn't it? And at 65 or beyond, it can seem like making new friends is almost impossible. After all, it was easier when we were younger: school, work, raising families. There were always people around. But now, the circle feels smaller, and sometimes the silence feels heavier than it should. Here's the truth though, it's never too late to build new friendships. In fact, some of the deepest, most meaningful connections can be made later in life, because you already know what kind of people bring out the best in you. You've lived enough to recognize real kindness, genuine conversation, and honest laughter when you see it. And while the idea of putting yourself out there may feel intimidating, the rewards are absolutely worth it. Companionship, laughter, a sense of belonging, these aren't just nice extras, they're essential to living a long, joyful, and healthy life. So let's talk about how to make that happen. I'm going to share 6 powerful secrets that can help you form new bonds, even if you feel like you've been on your own for far too long. These aren't complicated tricks or empty promises, they're simple shifts you can start using right away. And when you do, you may be surprised by just how many opportunities for connection are waiting for you. The first secret is to embrace the power of shared interests. Think about it, when you were younger, most friendships formed naturally because you were doing something together. Maybe it was working in the same office, raising kids in the same neighborhood, or joining the same club. That principle still works today. Whether it's a local gardening group, a walking club, a book circle at the library, or even a community class, shared activities give you an instant starting point with others. It removes the awkwardness of small talk because you already have something in common. Imagine sitting in a pottery class, shaping clay alongside someone else, and realizing you're both laughing at how wobbly your bowls look. That's a connection in the making. It's not about being perfect at the activity, it's about opening the door to shared experiences that naturally lead to friendship. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I'm shy, or I haven't joined anything in years. That's okay. Start small. You don't have to commit to a full calendar. Pick one activity that genuinely interests you, something you'd enjoy even if you went alone. That way, whether or not you walk away with a new friend, you've still done something fulfilling for yourself. But more often than not, when you show up consistently, you'll start seeing familiar faces, and those casual hellos can grow into real conversations, and eventually, lasting bonds. The second secret is to be open and approachable. You see, making friends doesn't always come down to finding the right group or activity, it often begins with the little signals we send. Think back to the last time you were in a public place. Did you notice the people who smiled at you? Didn't they seem easier to approach than the ones with crossed arms and closed expressions? The truth is, your body language and your energy matter more than you realize. Friendship opportunities are everywhere, at the grocery store, in a waiting room, or while walking your dog. A simple smile or a kind comment can spark a conversation. Something as small as saying, "That's a beautiful scarf you're wearing," or "These apples look really fresh today, don't they?" can be the start of a meaningful connection. Of course, not every conversation will turn into a friendship, but the act of being open builds confidence and lets others know you're someone worth talking to. And here's something important. Don't underestimate the power of listening. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel heard. When you show genuine interest in someone else's story, when you ask follow-up questions and give them space to share, you create a bond that goes deeper than casual chit-chat. It tells the other person, "You matter. I value what you have to say." That feeling is rare, and it's what makes people want to come back and talk to you again. The third secret is to reconnect with old acquaintances. Sometimes, building new friendships doesn't actually mean starting from scratch. Think about the people who have passed through your life, neighbors, colleagues, or even childhood friends you've lost touch with. Many of them may be just as eager to reconnect as you are, but maybe they're waiting for someone else to make the first move. You'd be surprised how often a simple phone call or message can reignite a connection. Imagine reaching out to an old friend from years ago and saying, "I was just thinking about you today and wondered how you're doing." Even if it's been decades, that warmth can still be there. People appreciate being remembered. And thanks to technology, finding and reconnecting with people has never been easier. A quick search on social media or even asking around your community might be all it takes. Of course, not every attempt will lead to a deep friendship, and that's okay. The goal isn't to recreate the past exactly as it was, but to see if there's room for a fresh chapter. Sometimes those rekindled bonds can feel even stronger, because now you have more life experience and more appreciation for the value of time spent together. Sometimes the idea of building new friendships later in life feels overwhelming because we imagine it has to happen in big, dramatic ways, like joining a club where everyone already knows each other or walking into a room full of strangers. But in reality, some of the best connections grow from the smallest steps. Think about it like planting seeds. A seed doesn't sprout into a tree overnight, but with a little attention, it grows strong roots. Friendships work the same way. You don't need to force them, you just need to create the right conditions for them to grow. One of the most powerful yet overlooked ways to do this is by simply engaging in activities you already enjoy, but in the company of others. Do you love reading? A library or community book club can be the perfect place to meet people who share your interests. Have you always enjoyed gardening? Many towns have community gardens where neighbors work side by side, swapping stories as they plant. If you enjoy music, consider a local choir, or even attending live performances. These shared activities take away the pressure of having to come up with endless small talk because the activity itself creates natural conversation. What's remarkable about this approach is that you don't have to pretend to be someone you're not. You show up as yourself, doing something you genuinely care about, and in the process, you meet others who feel the same way. That's the foundation of an authentic friendship, shared joy, not forced effort. And often, it's those simple conversations, about a book you just finished, a flower that bloomed in the garden, or a piece of music you both love, that slowly build into meaningful relationships. Now, let's talk about something equally important, learning to embrace new technology, even just a little bit. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond shy away from it, thinking it's too complicated or that it's only for the younger generation. But here's the truth, technology can be one of the greatest tools for connection if you allow it to be. You don't need to master every new app or gadget, but learning the basics can open doors you never imagined. Video calls with family, online classes where people gather virtually, or even simple community forums on social media can be gateways to building friendships. For example, there are countless online groups focused on everything from cooking to travel to history. Many of these groups include people from all over the world, and conversations often lead to genuine connections that feel just as real as in-person ones. Some even blossom into friendships that eventually carry over into the real world. Think of it this way, years ago, writing letters was the way people stayed in touch across distances. Today, a quick video chat is like receiving a letter that speaks back to you instantly. It doesn't replace in-person connections, but it can complement them beautifully. Even something as simple as sending a message or sharing a photo can be a small act of friendship that brightens someone's day, and yours. Another beautiful practice is volunteering. When you give your time and energy to a cause that matters to you, you not only make a difference in the community, but you also surround yourself with people who share your values. Whether it's helping at a local food pantry, mentoring young people, or lending a hand at an animal shelter, these environments naturally bring kind-hearted people together. You'll often find that the bonds formed in these spaces run deeper, because they're rooted in a shared sense of purpose. And what's more meaningful than connecting with people who care about the same things you do? Volunteering also shifts the focus away from loneliness. Instead of dwelling on what might feel missing in your life, you're pouring your energy into something bigger than yourself. That simple act often attracts people who are warm, compassionate, and open to friendship. And because you're working together toward a common goal, the conversations feel effortless, not forced. It's one of the most fulfilling ways to let new relationships grow naturally. Each of these approaches, pursuing your passions, learning to use technology, and volunteering, opens doors to meaningful connection in different but equally powerful ways. And the beautiful part is that you don't have to choose just one. The more you explore, the more opportunities you create for friendships to enter your life, often when you least expect them. We've talked about finding friendships through shared passions, volunteering, and even technology. But there's another secret that might surprise you: the courage to be open. At this stage of life, many of us carry decades of experiences, joys, losses, lessons, and stories. And sometimes, without even realizing it, we build protective walls around ourselves. Maybe we fear rejection, or we think it's too late to open up. But here's the truth: genuine friendships grow when we allow ourselves to be just a little vulnerable. That doesn't mean sharing your entire life story with someone you just met. It means being willing to let people see the real you. When you laugh at something silly, when you admit you don't know how to do something, or when you share a small story from your past, you're inviting someone else to connect with your humanity. The fifth secret is consistency. Friendships, like gardens, need tending. It's not about grand gestures, it's about the little, regular moments. A quick phone call to say hello, showing up to that weekly class, or simply checking in with a neighbor goes a long way. When you're consistent, you send a silent but powerful message: you matter to me. Over time, these repeated touches build trust and familiarity, which are the foundations of lasting bonds. And finally, the sixth secret: keeping a spirit of curiosity and openness. Sometimes, the people who end up becoming our closest friends aren't the ones we'd expect. They may be younger, older, or come from a background completely different from ours. When you approach new people with curiosity, asking about their stories, listening to their perspectives, you discover the incredible richness of human connection. Friendships don't have to look a certain way to be real. They just need to be honest, kind, and mutual. When you put all 6 secrets together, you realize something powerful: making friends after 65 isn't about forcing yourself into situations that don't feel natural. It's about leaning into the things that already bring you joy, being brave enough to share a little of yourself, and showing up with consistency and curiosity. Friendship has no expiration date. In fact, some of the deepest, most meaningful relationships are formed later in life, when we finally have the wisdom to appreciate them fully. And here's the most hopeful part: you don't have to do it all at once. Just start with one step. Try out a local activity, make a call, send a message, or even strike up a small conversation with a neighbor. One small step today could lead to a lifelong friend tomorrow. So, if you've ever felt that loneliness was inevitable after 65, let this be your reminder: it's not too late. The door to friendship is always open, and all it takes is the courage to walk through it. If this video has inspired you, I'd love to know, what's one step you feel ready to take toward building new friendships? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, please like the video and subscribe for more uplifting tips on making life after 60 full of meaning, joy, and connection. Because no matter your age, friendship is still one of the greatest treasures we can give and receive.